She is the ranking House member of the legislature's Insurance Committee. Let's welcome back to the show in studio for the full hour, State Representative Cara Pavalock-D'Amato. Representative, nice to see you.
Good morning, Gary.
A great morning to you as well.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here.
I always love coming and seeing you.
I know you do, and that's why I appreciate it so much. She was here. Oh, she was with us election night.
Yes, she was, and that was awesome. We haven't stopped talking about it.
I know. We got to do it. I know. That was back in November. We got to do another night, another kind of morning like that.
That was fun. I like that.
It was more of a roundtable-ish as opposed to having one guest on at a time. Mm-hmm. We have a few people on, so we may do that here again.
And I did bring a little something for you, Gary, a little memory.
Oh, my goodness.
People can see. There we go. Oh. It's a little picture of us. This is of Gary and I. When I think this might be a special. This might have been a special session where we came back for the budget.
Doesn't even look like us.
Well, Gary, speak for yourself. What does that mean? Quite often,
you know what it means.
Quite often, when we would get called back in,
mm-hmm.
It was very different than the way it is now. We could get called in at, let's say, the first bell. Now you get three bells basically in the morning. A 15-minute warning, a 10, a 5, and then get your butt in the chamber bell. Mm-hmm. And back in the day, when the first bell would ring, that was a 15-minute. 15 minutes was more like an hour and 15 minutes.
There's real time, there's legislative time.
Yeah, so it was like, okay, get out of bed, start getting ready, okay? Then maybe 45 minutes later was the 10-minute bell, and so forth. It was just a very long process. Very different now. Now it is 15 minutes means 15.
Does it really, huh?
Oh, yes. And so we would then, when let's say we started, maybe if the call was 9 a.m. before, and then we would come in maybe for 12 or 1, then we would sit around. This day, we sat around all day, okay, for hours waiting for them to call a bill, call the budget. They never even called anything. We ended up going home that day.
What year was that taken in? Was that 2015?
It had to be 15.
10 years ago?
Yeah, or 16, right? Because then we rerun again in 16. So we waited all day. And I remember the caption here was, we're waiting for them to call the budget, and they're not calling the budget.
Well, okay, so then that would have been 15 because the next budget year was 2017, and that was the bipartisan budget.
So the year that...
And that was in October of 2017.
Yes, I believe so. When we passed the first minority-led budget, Correct. In the country.
Yeah.
And that passed, and then I believe the governor vetoed. Did the governor veto it? I think so.
Knowing Malloy?
Probably, right?
Yeah, but it passed anyways.
Oh, did we came back for an override?
No, I don't think he vetoed it. No,
okay,
I don't think so.
It's been so long.
So 2017.
Yeah, budget since then. I do remember that was the CBAC though negotiation.
Yep.
And
2015 was
15. Okay.
Yes.
And we've come back, I think, once or twice.
Oh, what's that? 2017. Because the CBAC agreement is up in 2020. No, it's up in 2027. That'd be 10 years. 2017 to 27.
Well, the thing is, I do have another. So one thing I do like talking about as well, and I have this sheet which I'd love to bring back and give you copies so you can take a look. But as you know, I did appropriations for a couple sessions. I took a break. I went to finance. I hated it. Finance is so boring. Then I went back to appropriations.
Didn't you just have an appropriations meeting recently?
Last week.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we voted on giving more money away. And
to whom? Well,
a bunch of organizations. But I think one of the better parts was we were discussing, this is something Democrats do all year, about the cuts, the Trump cuts. And one day we asked our OPM, okay, well, how much in cuts have we...
Office of Policy and Management,
yep.
OPM.
How much have we seen in cuts so far? And they go, well, actually none. So it happened again in this meeting last week. You can see it on, what's the, where you can watch our hearings?
CTN.
CTN.
Yep. Yeah.
And a couple Democrats start asking about oh yeah, the Trump cuts, bringing them up over and over again. And finally, the director gets up to speak. And this is about the funding for oil. I can't remember what it's called, but it's subsidies for oil and for heating, home heating. And she goes, well, again, there have been no cuts. So then it shifted to, as Senator Lesser said, the proposed cuts, right, or the possible cuts, or the most likely cuts. It's every single time they do
possible
this.
Cuts. Possible.
Maybe cuts.
I could walk across the street, get hit by a bus. It's unlikely, but it's possible,
right?
You know, right. But Cara, this is why I tell people every morning. We talk about mainstream media and their lack of disseminating not only truth but both sides of an issue fairly. On top of that, you know what you're hearing from it, you can't necessarily take as the gospel. Like, oh yeah, this is true, this is factual. To that, and you just brought up the reason why. Well, these Trump cuts, right? And for those of you who are listening on the radio or online, you've heard it yourself. Trump cuts, okay? There's Trump cuts. But as you just heard a moment ago, when it came to the Appropriations Committee, and you asked specifically about the Trump cuts, the nonpartisan Office of Policy and Management said, you want to repeat that?
No, there have been no cuts at all.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There you go, my friends. You just heard it.
And from the director of this department herself, she said, we have not seen any cuts.
What about these Medicaid cuts?
The one thing I do know, and it was the same thing, by the way, the answer was the same thing as far as the block grants, there have been no cuts. They always, I think the projection is that, okay, there have been, let's say, cuts in personnel, right, in the number of workers at the federal level, which, again, the federal government was not set up to be...
It's bloated.
...the biggest employer in the country, right? We are a country of capitalism, of private companies. And let's face it, we all know that there are, well, these things called computers and programs that can do the work that...
An AI.
Right, that has been done in the past. I mean, I remember my husband always knows these bizarre things, and he was telling me how it was something about with Social Security, and when you retire from that department, all the files are kept in some like cave. I don't know. There was.
Oh yes, is that in Pennsylvania? Right.
Yep.
It's insane.
Yes.
Insane.
You can walk into it.
Yes, and it's. I mean, come on. It's just that there are a lot of jobs now that, let's face it, can be done by a computer, cheaper, and that's, again, go to the private market. The private market should be.
All right, but we've been hearing about SNAP benefits being cut.
Again, OPM has said that there has not been anything. The one thing I know that has been brought forward is by the hospitals is we are, again, no cuts yet, but because we are, and this is, again, what the Democrats do up there, because they're not facing any cuts, they intentionally and purposely do things so that way we will have cuts, right?
Yeah, but imposed by the Democrat majority in the state legislature, not from the Trump administration.
Well, no, things that in the future could result in cuts from the feds because we're giving free health care to illegal aliens. Yeah. Yes, and that could result in cuts to 1 million. We have 1 million people on Medicaid in Connecticut, which is scary considering our population is 3 million. So the fact that we have 1 million people on
how many of them are illegals?
I believe there's somewhere like 100. I don't know. I'm not positive. I can't say for sure, but I know there's millions of dollars.
Minimum of 100,000. Safe to say.
I mean, I quite possibly. Okay. I'm not positive, but I know. It's still, what does that matter? At the end of the day, millions of dollars are going towards them instead of our veterans, instead of and other people's, right? Their assistance is getting cut. I mean, it shouldn't be going to people who are, again, illegal. And I feel bad for these kids. They're brought over by adults, and And again, still, that's just, it's not right when that just means you're taking away from other people.
Trump wants to eliminate birthright citizenship.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily agree with that. There's plenty of other, I think there's just in general, people who come over. Now, Gary, I'm coming from the perspective, I'm glad you brought this up, because I've been through this process. And my first husband was not from this country. He's from Venezuela. So I had to do his paperwork. And it is a process. It takes a little, I would say, under a year or about a year from start to finish. But we got married on a fiance visa, but then he went back. You basically have to go back. He had to go back to Venezuela for a while till they finished the paperwork. And then he could come back legally once it was finished. A lot of people, unfortunately, don't. They stay here illegally, and then they, let's say, try to fix it. And when you overstay a visa and are here illegally, that's the problem. That's the law that you're breaking.
I had no idea. That's fascinating. I had no idea about that.
Yeah. So they're basically, all these people who are crying wolf, they're jumping the line. Get in line. You're not special. There's no reason. Why do you think that you deserve to be before everybody else who's been waiting the past year? I mean, I waited for he was my husband at the time, to be able to be with him. And it's unfortunate that all these people are jumping the line and creating these issues.
All right, we got to take a break here very shortly. Don't forget, we've got open phones. State Representative is here in studio for the full hour, taking your phone calls. If you want to call now, get into the queue, 860-243-1360. More with State Representative Cara Pavalock-D'Amato after this.
Are you a business owner who's been thinking, maybe it's time to sell? Or do you know someone thinking about selling their business, but they're just not sure where to start? Selling your business is one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make, and the wrong move could cost you big. That's where Integrity Benefit Partners comes in. They help you sidestep the most common and costly pitfalls, from valuation and negotiation to transition and succession planning. Integrity Benefits Partners guides you every step of the way for less stress and more of what you've worked hard for.
Hi, Bill DeCristofaro. Call us at Integrity Benefit Partners, 860-521-4015, or visit integritybenefitpartners.com.
When it comes to finding support for our loved ones, the choice can be overwhelming, but for one family, the decision was clear.
Our first experience with Euro American Home Care was 16 years ago for Mom, whose home care was so good, we called them back when Dad needed help and companionship. They always had Dad's best interests in mind. They were attentive, respectful, and compassionate.
Call Euro American Home Care in Berlin at 860-829-0208. That's 860-829-8208. Online at homecare4u.com. Everything you can hope for to keep your loved ones safe in the comfort of their home.
Make sure you like the Talk of Connecticut on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and stay up to date and connected with the Talk of Connecticut. FM 103.3 Hartford and 104.5 Litchfield.
24 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock on this Tuesday morning, our guest is State Representative Cara Pavalock-D'Amato. Why is Trump in everyone's brains up at the state capitol? They like to blame Trump for everything, and they like to turn state issues. See, they're counting on people to be uneducated, and they're counting on people to jump on the bandwagon of blaming Trump when, in fact, it's the Democrat-led majority who's inflicting the most pain on us.
Well, it's a distraction, Gary. Let's face it. They can jump on that bandwagon. Look at our reporters. Look at our stations. You don't see a headline that isn't anti-Republican, or let's say every time a legislator gets arrested, if it was Republican, it would say Republican legislator, but or legislator gets drunk up at the Capitol. It never says Democrat legislator, right?
But if it were a Republican,
yeah, you know it would say that, but it doesn't. And then I see comments online, all you legislators do is get drunk up there. And it's very frustrating because a lot of us, I'm very proud to be up there and I take it seriously, and I would never disrespect the position like that. Yeah. So for a few people who drive drunk, who text when they drive,
shoplift at Target,
it's just, then we all get painted with that picture, and yet we are in the minority. And again, Trump is used to deflect what they're doing at the state level and just how badly they're doing it. Our budget is, they moved $300 million off budget to fund early childhood education when the governor doesn't even fund the current programs we have? I mean, why not fund what we have before you start creating something new? But that's what he does. They need something to campaign on. So he starts something new, and then he'll throw it onto the cities and say, no, now you guys have to fund it yourself. Watch. It'll happen. It always does. And just like special education. And then we have our locals who are blaming, let's say, when they go over budget, blaming our mayor for not funding special education. And it's like, well, I mean, why don't you blame your own Democrat governor there? But they don't do that because they try to deflect as well.
Tell people about Josh Elliott, who is in the House,
right.
House Democrats. His candidacy for governor. What type of governorship should he win? What do we have?
Do you want to know my theory behind all this?
He's just holding up. It's a placeholder. I think
it really is all just to kind of show Lamont that there's now opposition, that there's pushback to him staying because he doesn't give in to everything that they want and doesn't spend like a drunk sailor. Mm-hmm. And so he is there just to, again, make the point that, look, we're going to put people against you. And ultimately, Tong is their savior. Tong is, look, it's so obvious. He can't get in the press enough. Any chance that he gets, they even ask for more money, millions more, instead of giving that to our homeless, to keep them warm or educate our kids. No, it's going to him and that department to sue Trump, to hire more attorneys.
But how does that go for him? He's losing cases, and there's others that are just pending.
Yeah, I haven't kept track because there's so many of them, but a lot of them get dismissed. A lot of them are just, they'll probably be pending for a long time. But again, it gets him in the spotlight so he can run for governor. So we all know it. Here I'm saying,
you think Tong wants to run for governor?
I know.
I think Tong wants to take over Dick Blumenthal's seat in the U.S. Senate.
I'm telling you, he's running for governor
next year.
Yeah. They're gonna push Lamont out. If Lamont, it's either Lamont forces them to keep him and stay in, or no. Or
but who's got more money than Lamont? And that's, quite frankly, that's what it takes.
You mean more money as far as campaigning or personal, or?
Well, yeah. I mean, you can.
I mean, they take the state funding, so.
Well, Stefanowski lent his campaign. Was it $15 million, and he only paid himself back 3 or 4 of that?
Well, I don't know why you'd use your own money when you can get money from the state for free.
You ain't gonna get $15 million for free.
No, but he still didn't win, so what difference does that make? Sorry.
Oh, okay then.
Burn.
Any chance of a Republican winning next year?
I really hope so. I think Aaron Stewart would make a great governor. But
just had her on yesterday.
She's got one choice for lieutenant governor, though. Let's face it. There's only one choice, and if she doesn't go with that, I'm concerned. So.